Hello, everyone. Good morning. Am I audible there at the back? Can you hear me well? Okay. So thank you so much, and it's pleasure to be speaking here in front of every one of you. So let me talk about um, since our topic this morning is all about digital transformation, right? So let me talk about cyber transformation or cybersecurity transformation. So regardless or for all of those transformation that are happening, around us. So let's not forget, right, about cybersecurity. So I want to show you this specific slide. So as you can see, it is a slide, that shows you a very large or a huge walls, right? So walls here represents the security perimeter, within our organizations. So the traditional approach or the traditional model that we have is that our corporate network, all of our users here, all of our devices, applications, and even our corporate data, traditionally, are residing inside our corporate network, right? And then that corporate network is being protected, let's say, by a firewall, right? So the wall earlier, represents this firewall. So this is our protection. But then again, since we are in a process of transformation, so we also have to transform the way we protect, right, our network perimeter or our corporate perimeter. And this is now the new model. So as you can see here, the corporate network is just a piece, of the expanding landscape or the expanding perimeter. So let's say, for example, since the pandemic started, we are forced, right? All of these organizations are forced to be on a hybrid model for us to be able to continue working, for us to continue operations, right? Let's say I am working at home. I have my own home office, But then again, the question is, when my corporate data leaves my corporate network, right? How will my network perimeter still secure those information or those data that are now residing outside of my corporate network? So that's one of the biggest change, that happens in our digital landscape. So for us to be able to fully secure our corporate data, the security should go with it wherever it goes. Whoever carries that data, wherever he put or saves that data, wherever location he is. So this leads us to this so-called new principle. So since we have a new reality, we have to have this new principle. So we call this as the zero trust framework. So if we have the digital transformation framework within security, we also have this same framework or architecture, wherein whatever kind of security solutions or vendor am I getting my products or my solutions is, the important thing is that this solution should follow this framework, which is the zero trust. So when we say zero trust strategy or zero trust architecture, we have this three guiding principles. So first principle is that this solution should have the capability of an additional layer of verification. Verify explicitly, right? The best example that I can give to you about this first principle is, let's say, two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, MFA, right? So it is an additional layer of verification. And from studies, it says that if you have set this up within an account, you have a 99.9% protection against password attacks or password compromisation. So let's say I have my username, I have my password, this got compromised, but then again, if I have an MFA in place, those username, those password will be useless for an attacker because he have to pass the MFA before he gets an access to that data, right? And then the second privilege is, principle is to use the least privilege access. You know, gone are the days, you know, that when let's say, for example, I request an access for that application, and that application is installed on that specific server, the IT team will actually give me an access to the whole server. But then again, that does not follow the zero trust framework that I am talking here now. You know, use privileged access solutions like just-in-time access. If I say that I'll be needing an access on that specific application for just an hour, after 1 hour, my access should be revoked automatically. You know, the key word there is the word automatic. Because if we go, you know, if we continue doing things in a manual way, we are very prone to misconfigurations, you know, user errors. You know, there will be no one to track those access that are lingering, you know, on my organization. And the last principle is to always assume breach, right? So you should not go on, you know, on the reactive approach, you know, wherein the attack is already inside the organization. That is just the moment that we'll be doing something. But then assume breach, more on the proactive approach, that even before an attack happens, I can already see this kind of signals. No, I have the visibility, let's say, oh, I have this couple of devices that are, you know, have vulnerabilities. I should be doing something about this before this, you know, before we get compromised by an external attacker. So these 3 key principles, if we are having a hard time, you know, to remember all of these principles, let's just remember, when we talk about zero trust, the phrase is, never trust, always verify. That's it. You know, if I have to build a solution, or if I would be getting a security solution, I should think, does this follow zero trust? Does it have another layer of verification? Will it provide the useless privileged access, you know, for this application, for this data? Or will it give me the capability to be proactive? If the answer is yes, then you're on the right track. You know, the framework is there. And then we regardless, you know, whoever vendor, security vendor you get your solution, as long as you're answering yes for all of this principle, you are on the right track. So this is the architecture itself. You know, you can see the identity layer. You know, this is my username, my password, my access to the application, my access to my data. The devices, you know, that my users are using, regardless if these devices are corporate issued or these devices are, you know, personally owned by your users. You know, that you allow BYOD and you allow them to be more productive. But then again, on the security part, you are productive, but are you secure? So we should be able, you know, to also get, you know, the compliance of these devices, you know, and then the data, because at the end of the day, what we would want to protect, that's why we're talking about cybersecurity, is our data, right? That if something happens on that corporate data, you know, our operations will be stopped, you know, or we are facing a lot of compliance issues. You know, those GDPR, Data Protection Act of the Philippines, right? And not just the cases, but we are talking here about money, the fines. You know, it's not a joke. And then the application layer, infrastructure, and even up to the network, regardless where your infrastructure is, even if it's on cloud or if it is on-premise. You should be able to extend the security. And in the middle, you can see the security policy enforcement. So this is where zero trust revolves. You know, the security policy integrates all of these components. You know, that wherever, let's say, the device is, whatever connection it connects, the policy goes with it. The security policy goes with it. As long as they have this, you know, as long as they carry your corporate data, you should be able to track all of these components. And yes, on a layer-by-layer approach, this is how it looks like. So you have the identity layer, the devices layer, services data, and up to the network. So if we will be going back again to the first slide that I showed you with the wall, so in reality, we should have this multiple layers of protection. So it depends, you know, what component it is. So this will be your end-to-end cybersecurity architecture framework. So I should be able to have, let's say, security solution for my identity, protection for my devices, and up to the network. So this is just a summary of how a usual attack kill chain happens within an organization. So let's say you have a user that receives a phishing mail, clicks the link, or open a malicious attachment. So that is where it sometimes, most of the time, it happens. So, but then again, if you have, let's say, don't have an email protection, it will go directly to your endpoints. And then if you don't have the endpoint protection, you know, the attack will be crawling inside your organization. So usually, this process takes 30 to 45 days, you know, for the whole domain to be compromised. So it's very long for you not to be able, you know, to notice, especially if you have a monitoring solution, which is, on this case, it is a SIEM or a SIEM. And then, let's not also forget about this insider risk. So we are always talking about the external threats, but what about the insider risk? Let's say you have a disgruntled employee who resigned because he don't like to work with you anymore. So how will you be able, you know, to manage how he copy files or even mass delete a file? So you should be able as well, you know, to track and to monitor and to prohibit this kind of data leakage scenarios. So this is the whole attack kill chain. And yes, for our full security portfolio for Noventic, so this is it. So we follow the Zero Trust architecture framework. And then again, we also have a, we are emphasizing about the GRC, governance, risk, and compliance, because this is also a very large concern, especially here in the Philippines, you know. And of course, the SOC. If in the near future you have this in mind that, oh, I want to have my own SOC or security operations monitoring, so you can do that as well. With we can help you on that. And this is a quick Noventic profile. You know, if you want to know more about Noventic, what kind of services, you know, and solutions that we are offering, we have a booth at the back, so you can, you know, there are our account managers. You know, I will also be here until this afternoon, so you can reach us out. Okay, so you may also want to connect with me. So you just, you know, can scan this QR code, and let's talk about cybersecurity and how we can help you, you know, to govern and manage your organizational data. Thank you so much.
All right.